Hey everyone, Nathan Graybeal here. Today I'm going to share with you 4 exercises that you can do at the beginning of your practice sessions to warm up your fingers, your ears, and your fluency and chromaticism. All these exercises that we're about to go over can be found in the ebooks of Chad Lb's 10 warm-up exercises for jazz musicians and Cecil Alexander's 20 essential jazz warm-ups. If you are interested in either of these resources, you can use the code WARMUP5 for $5 off. Alright, let's get into the first exercise. So let's fully break down what we just did here. First, we took a major scale. Then, from every scale degree, we're going to stack thirds till it results in a 4-note chord. This results in a sequence in which we call diatonic 7th chords. When we descend down the scale, we're going to play the sequence backwards this time, starting on each chord's upper note going downwards. Finally, the last step is to add a chromatic approach tone before every note in this pattern. This is a really nice warm-up that will gradually increase your fluency and chromaticism, and you'll see it creatively pop up in your solos more and more. Now, let's move on to warm-up exercise number 2. So what's going on here? The first note of each measure walks up the major scale, and the first half of each measure plays a 1, 2, 3, 5 shape. Thinking of this in intervals, this means that we'll walk up a scale step, then another scale step, then we skip a note up. Then after this shape, we'll walk down a scale step, then finally play a 3-note chromatic enclosure, 2 notes above and 1 note below the target note. Etc. On the descending version, we'll do something very similar, but this time the first half of the measure will be a 1, 2, 3, 1 pattern. Then we'll walk up a scale step and play our 3-note enclosure. Etc. Again, let's hear what all of this sounds like. This is a great warm-up to wake up your fingers for the day. Both of these exercises come from Chad Lb's 10 warm-up exercises. So now, we're going to move on to a couple of exercises from Cecil Alexander's 20 essential jazz warm-ups. Here's the third exercise that we'll look at today. Pretty cool. To fully break down what's happening, first let's take a major scale in thirds. Now, within each of these 2-note cells, we're going to target all of the lower notes with a 2-note enclosure, 1 scale tone above and 1 chromatic approach note below. Great, let's play it again at a faster speed. This is a really fun way to mix up those thirds and work on enclosures. Now let's hear the final exercise of the day. This one's really fascinating. So what's going on? This is based off the G dominant bebop scale. A bebop scale is when you take a common 7-note scale and then add 1 or more chromatic passing tones. There are several ways to create a bebop scale, but in this particular case, Cecil takes the dominant scale, then inserts a chromatic passing tone between the root and the flat 7th. This is the most common type of bebop scale, as it ensures that every downbeat will land on a chord tone of a G7 chord. However, when the exercise finds itself landing on the 6th for a downbeat, Cecil adds a chromatic passing tone between the 6 and the 5, ensuring that we land back into the original dominant bebop scale. Now let's take a look at the first half of each measure. Each of them is a diatonic 7 chord from every chord tone of G7. Here's a 7 chord from the root, which gives you a G7. Then here's a 7 chord from the third, which gives you a B half diminished 7. Then the 7 chord from the 5, which gives you a D minor 7. Then finally the 7 chord from the flat 7, which gives you an F major 7. After each of these, we descend down bebop scales, with those passing tone rules from earlier in mind. Now this is where it gets even cooler. How we're going to descend back down is by using pivot arpeggios. Essentially, to create a pivot arpeggio is to take the last 3 notes of your arpeggio and move them all down an octave. With this pivot technique, now watch as the exercise plays itself descending with this one simple concept. Now right here, I'm out of range on my instrument, so I'm not going to pivot this last particular chord. Okay, let's hear this whole thing one more time. Really neat exercise that's worth taking this through all 12 keys. Alrighty, well I hope you enjoyed these exercises today. Again, if you'd like 26 more warm-up exercises instantly, you can find the link to Chad LB and Cecil Alexander's resources in the description below and use the code WARMUP5 for $5 off. Thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe below as it really helps this channel grow. And don't forget to comment what else you might like to see from us in the future. See you all next time.